Well, hello and welcome back to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah, your medium on the go. And tonight we still have the story that never ends. Now, the focus card is the Queen of Pentacles, the dark side, or reversed, however you want to look at it. And in her, this is a real follow the money thing. In her reverse, she's a very social climby, money at all costs, and she doesn't care anything about ethics or morality or anything like that. She's actually, as the thumbnail would say, she's kind of the lady pimp. That's why I did that meme with that meme tarot card, the Queen of Pimps. And that's actually what this card is in reverse. Now, one thing I've noticed in doing all these readings, well, it's just related to everything, corruption of Trump, is Pentacles keep coming up. A lot of times, Pentacles in reverse keep coming up, which speaks of the corruption. But what's very interesting is whenever I've done these readings relating to this, and I guess we're all going to be relentless to not make this story die, which I doubt that it will, but I think we all need to do our part, is that Pentacles, whether I focus on Maxwell or whoever I focus on, or those Pentacles keep turning up, and I keep hearing the line from all of the president's men of follow the money, follow the money. And it goes beyond this, and I think there's a theme that's not only in my readings but in others on YouTube who seem to feel as though, whether you talk about the Epstein files, possibly those documents, in Mar-a-Lago bathroom and all this sort of stuff, the convictions, all of that, everything, that maybe there is a money trail that is, and of course this is for entertainment purposes only, but maybe there is a money trail tying this together. And this has taken on an international flavor with Prince Andrew, but you know that there are Russian oligarchs and Saudi Arabian sheiks and members of the royal family who have been participant. A lot of some of these cultures, they take child brides, so pedophilia, that's not a big leap for a lot of these different people that use culture as an excuse for that. So I'm beginning to see this all on a very kind of an international thing, and maybe tied up with a lot of things with this whole thing with Russia and some of these other corrupt dictatorship kinds of countries. So I have no idea what I'm going to come up with this, but I just want to do a general read because I know this is all connected. I'm not exactly sure I know how it's all connected, so I want to see if the tarot can give us a little bit of insight on this. So I'm using the Gilded Royale Tarot, and I'm using the before and after decks, and I'm using also the Rider deck, that pretty silver thing. I'm using that too. So I'm going to do the reading, see where it leads me, and then if I feel as though I need to dig in something a little bit deeper, I will. And if it turns out to be very complex, this will be divided into other readings. So this is Saturday night. Usually rare that I would do a video on Saturday night. This is the only one in August that I have free because of parties and I'll be doing. I'll be at the Dragonfly Center in Buffalo on the 23rd doing readings. So my Saturdays have been pretty much taken up. So at any rate, so you'll be seeing this sometime on Sunday. God only knows what'll happen. Every time I open up this computer, there's some new news about this. And I think the last one I did was about that din of Vance. But at any rate, so I've been shuffling these up as I've been talking before, actually. So let's take a look and see where this goes, because I have no idea. But it should be interesting, I hope. Okay, so. Alrighty, so what's going on with this right now? We have the King of Swords in reverse. Okay, King of Swords in reverse is it's the lying part of Taco, and it's the lying part of various world leaders. I think of Putin and North Korea, all kinds of things. That this is just filled with lies from. So we're off to a rip-roaring start here. So, telling me that there's probably more of these people involved than we think. So, the energy that crosses that is Tower in reverse. We haven't had the big one yet, but this indicates a lot of little mini catastrophes that they've been trying to put out, but they haven't learned the lesson that history has taught us, that saying that it isn't so and covering up is not going to make it go away. And it talks about never learning the lesson, and that this will eventually be the upright big one. But this is what's happening with all these world leaders. So in the before, leading up to this, we have, okay, the Three of Swords in the upright position. Those swords are getting ready to fall into the heart. But in the reverse, it hasn't hit yet. And who knows when it will hit. But it is about betrayal and treachery. So they're hovering above. So this is, I think what this is telling me, this is involving a lot of world. I mean, of course, there's a lot of entertainers, there's people in our government, but I think what this is saying is, of course there are, and probably both parties, but we need to, this is a global thing. And let's see, in the after tarot is, and it's pretty much like the standard one. It's in reverse. There will not be any celebrating. And in fact, if people, what a real sign that we're going to see about people involved is in the reversal of the cups. There won't be celebrating, but there will be, take a very close look at people that are starting to look drunk and loopy. It looks like that they're using. And it's really interesting because apparently, surprise, surprise, Hegseth, happy hour, Hegseth was on ranting about something, I guess Confederate monuments, drunk again. And it makes me wonder, is he involved? I mean, it's just, there's a lot of questions. So, underlying all of this, leading up to this sort of thing, Kibo. Interesting enough, we haven't had our friends the Pentacles show up, but we do have royalty and a major arcana. So let's see what we have here. Oh boy. See, this is waiting to happen. This is just waiting to happen. I would say there may be people besides Maxwell. I would say what the tower's saying, there may be some prominent people that have been caught and it has ruined their lives for kitty pornography or whatever, but would not seem to be related, but are. Something's telling me this is a lot of it is tied in together. Then we have those wanting to walk away but can't. And again, the lying king. I think what this is telling me is that the lying has been about a lot of money and money laundering, and it makes me think of the Deutsche Bank stuff. When Taco couldn't get any funding anywhere else, he went to this bank that has been accused of being a Russian laundering thing. So that is very interesting. So, in opposition to this is judgment in reverse. Okay, this is the fear of being judged badly, which is, of course, something involved in this. But this is also saying that this club of like-minded perverts, it's falling apart. It's falling apart. There are people that are waiting in the wings, waiting to throw people under the bus like Maxwell. So we've got this. So let's see. We need to get the conscious. What's going on with these people on the conscious level? They really think that their money, here with the pentacle, they think that with their money and all the power that they possess, they're going to get away with it. This is basically how, even though they're actually what they're really, this guy reversed, but actually that there are a lot of people who feel as though their money is going to make them immune from all of this. So this is what they're thinking on the subconscious level. Fool in reverse. Very foolish, very foolish. And what this tells me, keeping in the theme of this, is that there may be some money that's foolishly spent to keep this covered up in a very risky way, and that this will not work. So on the subconscious, this is the magician, and then they're getting a little bit too cocky. Okay. So let's see, we've got in the past. Interesting, I've only seen one pentacle that's in the magician. Okay, so we have here, yes, okay. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse in the past. This is the disloyal knight. This is the mercenary who will, again, use his money to get himself out, and that he will do some very unethical things as long as much. So there's a lot of money involved in this. So people are getting rich. I'm sure that Maxwell probably got a commission for everyone she molested and abused and sent into him. So we've got this in the past. Been attracting a very I would also say that the Knight in Pentacles in reverse that's someone that's on their way to being an oligarch. They've got a lot of money, but they're not quite in the top level of. They're on their way to be, like it's a knight on the way to being the king. They're on their way to becoming an oligarch, and so they have enough money to put it in the right place. And he's also the knight in reverse, a knight of pentacle in reverse is someone who knows how to launder money too. Okay, so this has been in the past. I would say the entree into this world is like, it's not going to be some schlub that, some working stiff that's going to get into this, that's a member of this club. That's why we'll all be very shocked when we see all of these names. I do have to make one thing clear, is I do believe this is such an awful thing that just because people are on the list and just because they've flown on his plane or been photographed at parties with him, they warrant an investigation. It's very important, but you cannot go ahead and assume that they've been abusing children until it's proven, because a lot of people have been to his parties, but I am sure that it's a very, elite, kind of in a disgusting way, kind of crowd that gets back into whatever room that is. So you can't assume that everyone that's been to his parties and on his jets has been doing that. A lot of them, I believe, are covers for having high society parties. So I believe when it gets, any crime has to be investigated. You have to really investigate this. And the big clue right now are the women who are coming forward and who are, naming people that have been inappropriate or raped them or whatever. And a lot of the names that I've seen on that, you hear about this one and that one, I haven't heard them being talked about. So I think that's very, very important. Okay, so in the present, we have temperance. What temperance is telling me is that this has been a pretty well-oiled machine that's been going on, I would say, probably at least for 30 years, if not longer. And it hasn't been busted up completely because whoever's running the show has a pretty good balance of, this one, we can't let this one in because we can't trust them. So I would say they've been using their instincts and they've been using practical means of who belongs to this club or not. And I know that, and with the 1 foot in the material world means that the first requirement is being of some means, because face it, part of the expense of any criminal enterprise is bribing government officials, who I would say they might as well have participated because they're just as guilty. So in the very immediate future with this is right now there are a lot of people that want to come forward. They know what they have to do in the choice that they make, but they still have the blindfold on. There's a lot of denial going on with this. Okay, so as we move along in the future, we have Wheel of Fortune in reverse in the after. It's sort of like all the elements, I guess, never showed up. So, of course, this whole thing going bad with the devil, our friend the devil of the major arcana, being at the top part of the wheel. So what this is telling me is that there will be a lot of money that's being lost. I would say that when I see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it means someone's put a stick in the spokes of the wheels and stopped it. So I would say internationally, I feel this is telling me that on a very secretive level, I think there are some things being discovered in offshore accounts, and I would not be surprised if maybe the International Court and The Hague are doing quiet investigations, and that it could very well be leading back to the whole Epstein thing. So let's see. Then we have Strength in reverse, and in upright, she's already tamed the lion. I would say that it's all falling apart. And I would say it's the money thread that is making it fall apart. So we got that. Coming up even further is the Knight of Swords. Getting his prey. And which is telling me there will be people that are going to be ratting each other out right and left. I think that this is the next. I wouldn't even be surprised if this thing is unraveling, like Hogarth's unraveling sweater is unraveling so fast that people will be stabbing each other in the back as certain financial things are revealed. So in the hopes and the fears, we have, perfect. 2 of Pentacles reversed. I would say that what could make an enterprise like this crumble is the money thing falling apart. And the ship out in the ocean here always gives me the feeling of international sort of thing. That ship is not going to stay afloat. And so the money laundering and the well-oiled machine that they have had tells me this is falling apart and the ship is listing a bit. So the hope was that they could keep the boat afloat, but the fear is they can't. So this is more fear than hope. We're getting more into the fear element of this. So I'm going to draw a card with a conclusion of what could be happening in the here we have the 3 of Pentacles. So this card tells me is that the bribing aspect and the money laundering, there's going to be no one there to do it. This is going to be such a hot potato that it's going to be more and more difficult for this money to be laundered. And I always think of Russia with that. I do want to throw a couple of clarifiers on this. I think I'm going to draw a few cards on Russia. Now that we've gotten Deutsche Bank and all this sort of thing. So, okay, let's see. Alrighty. This is a very interesting, okay. The Sun in reverse, as usual, is the more they try to cover this up, the more the sun always, even on the cloudiest days, unless you have an eclipse, there is some light. And the sun always peeks through the clouds, which means The truth will be leaking out, but it will not be real open about this. You get money involved, I'm telling you. Then we have Knight of Swords. Someone, it looks as though someone could go, it may be inadvertently running off their mouth and getting careless, and this is about rushing, not thinking before you speak. Then we have here, now we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So this is Maxwell as the treacherous queen, and she's going to say whatever she needs to say to save her own ass. That is for sure. The woman's in jail for perjury. It's like, who can believe her? I don't think she's leaving it out of she will always, this is perfect, because she will be wielding this, I've said it before, she will have that sword wielded over the head of this regime, saying, I said you had nothing to do with it, but that could always change, because I think what I'm feeling that what she did was in depositions, and when the DOJ clown show talked to her, she probably had some memory she may not have said, this is what I'm getting from my team here, is that instead of, either not accusing him or accusing him, I think she had memory problems. Like, I can't recall for sure. I don't think so. I don't recall him being there. I recall him at a party. I don't think she. I don't think she went into this. Oh, absolutely not. He had nothing to do with it. I'm feeling very strongly that no, that was not part of the scenario. I think the vagueness and the faulty memory. She had to keep some cards to the vest to ensure her future. So she will have that over their heads. So I want to do a short read about Russia, because it's, all of the, there has been talk that since the 80s, Taco Tits has been in with the Russians thick as thieves. It's the Deutsche Bank, and they're just, they're just not going to say, oh yeah, we'll give you the loan and all of this sort of thing. There's a price to be paid for that. There is a price to be paid for that, and it goes back to the Soviet Union days, which I don't see there's much of a difference, except maybe people don't have to queue up for toilet paper like they did, and they call it capitalism instead of communism, but it's just the same old bird with the two different wings. That's all that is. But I just really want to do some quick draws to see what Russia may be playing a part in this. So I'm gonna shuffle these cards up. Russia. Because I know that those Russian mobsters they've gone a little darker than the Italians and the Colombians, and I think they've been their mobster MO. A lot of it has been trafficking, and probably in children too. So let's see what. And I think as far as the intelligence agent, I mean, they keep talking about Mossad, but as I said in previous readings, with him, I think it's, them and everybody else. Them and whatever they call the KGB now, and the other, other intelligence super spy operations. And it's not any loyalty to any country. It's all about I'm selling, are you buying? Without any sort of political view to this, which is just makes him the bigger piece of scum. But and I would not single out the Israelis. That's what I have felt. Yes, he's dealt with them, but they're not the only ones. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so Russia. Oh, interesting. 7 of Swords. We have Russia with the stealing of the secrets, the selling of the secrets. So, stealing them, and because swords are information. So this is, and I have to put this back to Deutsche Bank and those boxes of stuff at Mar-a-Lago. It's, it's just, I'm wondering how much this is tied in. Energetically, we have the Knight of Swords with the lying and the subterfuge and the junior, and this could be a junior oligarchs and the spying. Because swords in reverse can be about spying, can be about misinformation and spying stuff. So interesting that swords. So it's telling me, yeah, information for sale. That's what he has been doing. So let's see in the before tarot. We have the Star. And in the upright, she's getting ready to do her little alchemy between the earth of her logical thoughts and the waters of intuition and creativity. She's about to dunk those in and get her day off. But I think she isn't going to do it. It's in reverse. She's not doing it. So, and this is, a lot of times this is about the United States. So this, I would say that this is, leading up to this is bypassing this, spiritual element, the cosmic element of this. And it's all on the material. See, she's just standing on the land there. She doesn't have it's all about the materialism. This is all a money thing. And let's see the after. Yep, we have the Hermit holding the poisonous serpent, not in a proper way. I would say this is Epstein lives on, so maybe this is I think this is Maxwell. She's out there looking and seeing, well, if they don't play ball, I will let this serpent bite them. Okay, so, which I keep thinking she's asking for money. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised. These people are so international. I wouldn't be surprised if Russia has a say in this. Okay, so we go in the past. Okay, 8 of Cups. Before we walk away, we're going to take a swig. That we're not and that could be drinking from the toxic cup. So we have that in before. A cup full of vodka. So, I would also say that is Russians don't let people walk away. That's why I think there's a whole lot of this and a whole lot of something else that's tied in with them. So let's see, going more into the present, we have 2 of Cups in reverse. So this isn't exactly the meeting of the minds, but holding partnership, through emotional blackmail. Like, we have you on tape doing this, that, and the other thing. I think that's part of the whole Trump thing too. He's obligated. So as we go a little bit into the future, interesting. We have the Page of Cups. That is the children being lured into this. In the, appealing to the emotional thing. Which means that they may be trying to think of a way to continue this, which is totally disgusting. Let's see, moving a little bit more into the future we have. Okay. Whatever they're doing isn't working anymore. It isn't. The spark is gone. I would say that monetarily, this whole thing could be falling apart. So maybe what this is saying is that I don't know. Let's see what this is saying. Let's pull another one. Okay. Alrighty, I think now I'm kind of getting this. Okay, this is the Queen of Wands. So this is another aspect of Maxwell showing what a really despicable, horrible person that she is. This woman in reverse is a tyrant, and she's not faithful. She's not loyal. So this I would say these two are that's very angry energy in this, and which is telling me that I think part of the thing is that she wants money. So how does this tie in with Russia? How will this be tying in with Russia? Page of Wands, there will be a new message coming up, which is saying that they may be regrouping. I would tell her, don't stand near any open windows, and be careful about having beverages in public. They've gotten people in the UK and all over the world. The Russians have done this. So this is telling me that she may be her own undoing. I think that this could be the Russians regrouping. They certainly have their money, their hands filled with Ukraine. So if they could, and again, we have a young person. So if some of that funding comes from because to me, oligarchs and mobsters and the Russian thing, or maybe the worldwide thing, they pretty much become one and the same. So they could very well be, funded in desperation. I know they're selling some oil to other countries, but I think that some of the illegal activities and maybe, the prostitution, the child stuff, could be something that they're trying to keep hold of, and they may consider her dangerous. It looks like she could be a loose cannon that'll say anything. So maybe they're trying to find a new strategy. Maybe it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. So the Russian, I think that they have been. It's somehow gotten back to Putin for entertainment purposes only. So let's see what we have here. 9 of Cups, yep. Their world was going so nicely until Epstein got busted and she got busted, and they've got a lot of problems. So it's very hard to say. Now they may, and I think they're probably involved with drugs and God only knows what else. So, in their hopes was that they could stay in their comfortable little world. The fear is, I think they have a fear that as more of this gets revealed, some of this is going to go back to them. Now, I'm not saying that their whole economy is fueled by that, but I would say that maybe this is part of a big network of criminal enterprise that's keeping them afloat, or barely keeping them afloat. And so, of course, he has sold information, and they use this to blackmail, but they use this for criminal enterprise. So this whole thing unraveling is really taking them out, but putting them in an emotional tailspin. So who knows what they're going to do about that. So let's see, a concluding card for that is interesting. We got the Three of Cups. It's a celebration, but it's a very scattered thing, because I think maybe what they think is that they may see this unraveling as an internal thing, but I think that the thing is that they probably feel that they have us, or they have that American, criminal element under control. And there's celebrating, but it's very scattered. It's a very scattered, in this deck, it's a very scattered celebration. It could be a false celebration, because maybe that maybe this means that they are living in delusion, that this won't get traced back to them just yet. But they're kind of worried, but this is telling me, so far so good. But I always look at this as kind of a false celebration, because they're just like all over the place with this. Let's see if I can get a better understanding about this. Okay, so then we have, I think all of these people that have been assets to them from Trump, and if that's true, for entertainment purposes only, and other people, in that Tulsi broad in the cabinet, is that has been their strength. That has really been their strength. And that they feel as though they have certain control over them, which is their strength. And but they're kind of stuck. Now they're kind of stuck on that journey. Death is always moving forward. It's about beginnings and ends. But but this tells me that all the old stuff that they've been doing, which does go back to the old KGB, blackmail stuff, that may not be working, and they may be that this could be giving a halt to the celebration. It's not. It's like a very severe illness instead of death, but it stopped the journey. I think that maybe they're trying to regroup. So let's see what we have here. And then we have the Lovers, that they're hoping that that these partnerships will hold. They're kind of at a distance, and this is kind of like that Adam and Eve thing. She's getting ready to tempt him, because the serpent told her to, all this sort of thing. So there's a whole lot going on here, which is telling me that whatever partnerships they've had, it's been very, very uncertain. So there could be a this may be a little bit of a fool's paradise, because whatever hold they've had, and there's nothing like pedophilia as the ultimate in blackmail, but also a very profitable part of whatever criminal enterprise they could have going, because, you know, with all the sanctions, what else can they do? So I would say that, to me, this is telling me, yep, they're involved, but that they've pretty much managed to keep themselves in the shadows of this, just like they have with whatever their money laundering. You know, this is all part of their money laundering thing. And what this is also telling me is that, you know, with the lovers, that this illustrates that there are people, you know, in this country that may be involved with that they do need Russia to cover for them and to launder their money. So I think that Epstein, it looks like Epstein was probably in with the Russians, I mean, it's, as I say, no political ideology. He was just in with whoever could be paying, because I think that they were a very big part of I see them as a big part of the money laundering, but also part of the enterprise too. So we may look at other countries, but to me, the Russia thing, it's probably the bigger thing. So I think what these readings have said is that the money laundering thing, maybe it's kind of vague. It may be starting to unravel. I think there are international agencies that are starting to find this in other, you know, that's what Jack Smith did at The Hague. He did a lot of the, you know, criminal international money laundering cases. So ironically enough, what his hands were tied in doing with this regime here could very well be something that he may could very well stumble into something that, you know, they put the links together, it goes back to Epstein, or a part of it does. So at any rate, it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. This story is not dying. So I will sign off for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye.